Here's everything that's coming in Season 23 of Apex Legends. Special shout out to EA for letting me see it early. I want to start with saying that this video is coming out at the same time as the gameplay trailer, so I would assume that the patch notes will be released sometime shortly after this. So around certain specific things, I may not cover in this video just because it wasn't related to me. However, there is a lot to get into, so let's begin. One of the biggest changes that is coming this season is they are reworking Lifeline. Now for her passive, she'll still have the special revive, but in addition to that, she'll also be able to grab onto her Doc healing drone and glide mid-air. You can have no weapon out while gliding, but you are able to look around while doing so. So Lifeline now has some mobility or movement to her kit that some of the other support legends are definitely not going to have. This is going to make her pretty good, but I didn't get to playtest, so I can't say how good yet. On her tactical, the Doc drone will now follow teammates around that need to be healed. Now, you get to pick as Lifeline where you're sending the drone out to. You can switch it up between teammates or return it back to yourself if you need it. This is a much more dynamic ability now, and as you can see in this footage, it's pretty crazy. For Lifeline's ultimate, she no longer has the care package. Instead, Lifeline will throw down a halo. Now inside of this halo, Lifeline and her teammates get fast healing. Now if you played in the early days, this used to be a Lifeline passive, and Gold Armor used to also do it as well. This is not a dome though, so grenades and other abilities can still come over the top of the halo and into it and affect you if you're inside it, but people can't shoot through the halo. So think of like Gibby's bubble, but much more dynamic. This ability also looks pretty strong, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out and see how long the cooldown is, how long it lasts, things like that. But that's not all. Support classes are getting heavily reworked. Last season they changed around the controller and the recon class and added more perks to them, and this season it's the support class's turn. So first, they will have no slowing effect while healing, and that is in terms of movement. So you'll move at the normal speed as walking while you're healing as a support legend. For small heals, they will heal 2x, basically like Gold Armor used to, where you would pop one shield cell and it would heal you 50 HP on the shield. This seems like a significant buff all around to the support class, but it doesn't end there. All of the legends have a 25% faster revive speed, and the teammate that you revive will come up with the health regen. This is sort of similar to some of the legends upgrades, but now this is just a perk for all support classes. And you thought I might be done, but I'm not. Mobile respawn beacons will also spawn in teammates' death boxes and in the crafter. So if they die, you don't have to trip out about not having a mobile respawn beacon. And mobile respawn beacons as a whole are going to come down faster now. They're not going to take nearly as long as they used to. However, in a trade-off for all of that, the support legend class no longer has access to crafting banners. Instead, all legends can craft ally banners, even after they expire. Now, as far as some other legends that are receiving buffs this season, first is Gibraltar. They are reducing his cooldown on his bubble. It's now down to 17 seconds. This is pretty big because I think previously it was around 30 seconds, so it's almost cut in half. They're changing around some of his upgrades. One is Big Brutta, which is going to increase the ult's diameter, so basically how much that spreads out when you use his ultimate, just to have a bigger ultimate. And on the upgrade for shotguns, where it will auto reload on a knock, Gibraltar will also have the Maggie passive, where he can run and move at the same speed while having a shotgun out, as he would if he didn't have a gun out. Another change is Maggie and Crypto no longer counter Gibraltar's bubble. I think what they meant by saying this is, of course, for Crypto's EMP, but for Maggie, it's more so her wrecking ball. I still believe the drill goes through the bubble, but it doesn't counter it in the same way that the ball did, where it would totally take it away. For Conduit, they're upgrading her passive, where the speed boost that she gets while looking at a teammate also includes teammates' death boxes, so if they die and you got to run to it, respawn beacons, downed enemies, and the crafters. So all of these aspects, you will receive that speed boost while looking at them. For Newcastle, the mobile shield will no longer take any damage and can be moved while Newcastle is downed. For his revive, as you know, the knockdown shields sort of increase the viability of the revive, and they are increasing the damage that each knockdown takes for Newcastle by 50%. So his revive is also getting significantly buffed here. For his ultimate, they said something about increasing shields to teammates around Newcastle as he puts it down. I'm not sure how long this window will last, but his ultimate is turning more and more into Watson's ultimate, it seems. They mentioned that Mirage and Lobo will be buffed at the mid-season split, but didn't get into any specifics there. Overall, these are some pretty big changes to the support class, and they will be interesting to see how much it impacts the legend meta. Moving on to a core gameplay change that is going to be introduced this season. I also am unclear or unsure at this time if this is permanent or if this is just something you're testing, but it's called Rift Relics. Essentially, think of the loot ticks that we see around some of the maps. Well, there are going to be much more of them, and they're going to be marked on the map when quote unquote lightning strikes. Instead of just the normal loot that the loot ticks spawn, these are going to be different. They are going to spawn new weapons and loot, and there are over 25 items. They didn't get into every item, and they also mentioned they might not even disclose that in the patch notes. However, this is where the EPG-1 from Titanfall will be found in one of these Rift Relics. Now, it's a red tier weapon, so it's essentially a care package gun, but not in the care package, only to be found in these Rift Relics. There are also going to be other things like the bow check, how it was on release, and if you played in Season 9 when it came out, it was really strong. There are also other things called boost kits, and these are going to add new abilities that, for instance, will allow you to do things like hover in the air and be able to shoot while using it, along with some other things that sound pretty crazy. Like, it's really going to shake up the gameplay, and they didn't really cover it a lot, so I'm not trying to sound vague. It's just they kind of like hinted at some of these things coming, but didn't really get into a lot of the details. But you can also find things that like heal you with every hit and instantly refill your health and armor on headshots, but those might be found in hop-ups. So it's going to add a whole new dynamic to the gameplay. But the key is that this is not going into ranked. This is only going into pubs. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't know. To me, it just seems like adding more things like this makes it feels less like Apex, but I know the game is in need of some changes, so we'll just see if this is what it needs. For the weapon meta, the Havoc is going into the care package with the select fire returning to it. The turbocharger will still be vaulted, meaning it will not be in rotation this season, but in exchange for the Havoc going into the care package, the Devotion will be coming out. They said they've buffed it in other areas and have made it so that it doesn't feel as bad as it used to feel when it was on the ground loot without a turbocharger, since it will obviously not take one this season. They are buffing the P2020 Akimbos, specifically with the hipfire, so the hipfire should be more accurate. They said there's a Spitfire buff with its damage. The Sentinel and Rampage are receiving a buff. When it comes to charging them up, you should have more shots now than you did previously. The L-Star is getting an extra damage buff, and it's smoothing out some of the firing animations. They are also buffing the longbow's damage. I'm not sure how I feel about the Spitfire being buffed or the Sentinel receiving more shots when it's charged up, because that already feels like a really strong floor loot weapon, but we'll just have to wait and see how this feels. They are adding a new mythic item or universal heirloom called the Raptor's Claw, which is like a karambit if you've seen the Valorant one. It's a spitting knife. There's different inspects and animations for different legends, but once again, like, there aren't really a ton of specifics here on how to get it. It's probably going to be the same as, you know, whatever that sword is called, or, you know, I don't know. This isn't really the stuff that I care about when it comes to the heirlooms, particularly these universal ones, which I don't really care about. I liked when they did the legend specific heirlooms, but nonetheless, a new one will be coming. They are changing ranked around only slightly though. Okay. I don't want this to come off like ranked is seeing a huge overhaul, because to me, it doesn't seem like it is, at least the way it was verbalized to me. They said that they're going to tweak the matchmaking in hopes to have tighter matchmaking. I feel like this is something I've talked about for, I don't know, a while now, so I'm not sure exactly what this means, and it could mean different things for different ranks, right? Because like I know last season in Platinum and in Diamond, it was often, for me on PC, I would be going up against a lot of Predators. I don't know if that's what they mean, or if they mean for the lower ranks, it's going to be tighter. Once again, the patch notes may reveal more about these specifics, but if for nothing else, this is just the gist of it. They are reducing the entry costs for Platinum, Diamond, and Masters. So for Platinum, it's 45, for Diamond, it's 65, and for Masters, it's going to be 90. There is now a visualization of the ranked tiers for each lobby that you get into. So in the loading screen where it shows the map and the countdown, it's going to show you like the distribution of the players in your lobby of what rank they're in. They said they plan to introduce this into pubs in an upcoming season, but if there are mess ups in terms of, hey, you're bronze fighting a, I don't know, diamond player, you can take a screenshot of it because there will be that server ID code, and Apex or Respawn said they will investigate if that occurs. But this hopes to add some more transparency to the matchmaking. So I think that's a good change in theory. So hopefully that is something that benefits the matchmaking. They did also talk about the anti-cheat and that more is going to be revealed similar to last season. They said something similar, and then they released that blog post where they disclosed how many cheaters they are banning every month, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what they come out with later on down the line regarding the anti-cheat, because I know they have definitely put that as a point of emphasis for the last season or so, and I think that's a great thing. So I commend them on that. That doesn't mean that they ban every cheater, and I don't know if we can expect for them to do that, but at least they're being more transparent about it now than they had previously been. For the Battle Pass this season, the Mozambique will get the reactive skin. I think a lot of us could have seen that coming, especially after the P20 got it last season. They are still doing the Battle Pass splits, so there will be 2 of them. And as far as the rest of the season goes, there wasn't much else to cover. They are doing limited marketing, it seems, in regards to releasing it. There has been limited leaks, which I think is a great thing, and maybe more will be revealed. This is just what I got to see, and so I'm not saying this is the end all be all. And as I said, the patch notes will hopefully show more specifics around cooldowns and the specifics in damage buffs or nerfs, etc. But overall, be an interesting season. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, because I'll be dropping a tier list at some point within the next week. Thanks for watching. Peace.